As we begin to say, no, I know what you want, then all of a sudden we will become dull in our hearing. And we become religious about how we relate to God. And we settle for something that God never intended for us to have. A long distance relationship. He broke that veil, all of us, but we all, with an open face. Not just pastor, not just prophet, not just the leadership. If it just remained in leadership, we just like any other religious church. If it only remains within the core, never gets to the body, is there no replication within the whole house, then we can't go from generation to generation. I was down here praying the other day, and I was listening, and I'm praying and trying to figure out, and I'm longing for 20s and 30s to come. I'm longing, I'm praying, it's coming out of me. And I'm asking God, I said, God, give me, I need a strategy. I need a strategy bad. Open the door. You know? Because we need it. It resets us. When we get 20s coming in, we got another 50-year window. If it's just us 50s and 60s, 40s, we only got 3 decades. So I'm thinking transgenerational. I know you enjoying yourself and having a good time. But I'm trying to look behind me. I'm looking at, hey man, I want to, you know, or whatever way front. Yeah, I'm just trying to pass it. Seeing if anybody gonna reach out to grab it. I say, I got it, Apostle. I'm gonna run and take this message on. Why? Because this line is going out. And we need to get this in our belly because it has to go from generation to generation. It has to go. It has to affect the whole house. Tell your neighbor, it has to affect the whole house. It has to affect the whole house. Karl Barth says something. He said, theology is not a private reserve of theologians. It's not a private affair of professors, nor is it a private affair of pastors. Theology is a matter for the church. The whole church has to come up in this understanding. That's what I'm saying. He said the term laity is one of the worst in vocabulary of religion and ought to be banished from Christian conversation. I hate the word laity. It's a derogatory term. It don't even make you common. It's a denigrating term when people say laity. The word for laity is laos. It's the church that's Laodicean church. It's the laity church. And they were hot or they were cold. And most churches are hot or they're cold. You know what I'm saying? But let me rephrase that. Not most hot and cold. Most are lukewarm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. They got the best of both worlds. They got a little God and a lot of them. That's what makes you lukewarm. That's why, you know, ain't nothing worse than having lukewarm Pepsi. Man, you look, once you get lukewarm, you cannot put it in the refrigerator. It lost its flavor. It just ain't the same. It may get a little few bubbles if you shake it up real good, but we've been lukewarm because they told us that you have to have this ambition to assail up into the hierarchy. You gotta get up there. It's a lot of room up there. It's what the anointing is. Not really. Psalms 133 said the anointing comes down from the head to the beard all the way down to the feet. So while you trying to get authorized and deputized, there's a lot of anointing down there. I just can't wait till the apostle put his hands on me and affirm me. Well, let God put his hand on you and affirm me. It's a lot of anointing down at the bottom. Psalms 139. Yeah, it is. It is. It really is. We thirsty. I can't wait till I get anointed. Yeah. Good luck. When I got anointed, I was happy and excited the first one. The other few anointings, just a part of the program. First one, I was excited. Found out I can prophesy. That was my first initial anointing. I was prophesying. You know, just prophesying, just going through all the classes. And that thing started coming up in me and prophesying. I just turned to another man. Found out that you can't live from it. It's for ministry. But there is an anointing you can live from that's for life, that abides in you, that makes you into a new wineskin, a new person. You can't live on a new wine. You got to have the new wineskin. The new wine comes because of the new wineskin. Oh, everybody wants the new wine, but the new wineskin has to be made first. Amen. That's the person who you really are outside of the pulpit. Okay. Psalms 139. You know, I'm going to say some things confrontational at the end. We can clean it up if you got any questions. So let me digress a little bit. We started off, we said that the Bible is a spiritual book. And I walked you guys systematically and showed you externally how that is relative. That's the word. How it's relative to us. And so we're not necessarily just reading about it, discussing thoughts, tossing terms around, and everybody being excited from time to time. The word itself has to be conceptualized. There has to be a manifestation of a truth. It has to be manifestly declared. That's what he told them, that you are our living epistles, manifestly declared. You are the manifestation of the truth I carry. So it's not just what I know, it's what I become. I told you a long time ago, the highest order in the kingdom is to become it. We're tithers because we tithe. We're praisers because somewhere along the line we praised. We're worshipers because somewhere along the line we worship. You get what I'm saying? So the highest order is to become it. So we're not just doing. That's works. We're being. And Psalms 139 is a being text. Not just the doing. It's not just a philosophical thought. 139 and 15. So we're talking about the Bible. We started off talking about the Bible. We just left off talking about the living epistles. But we're going to talk about the living word. What's written, living epistles, and the living word. Anybody want to live? Want to have a living word?
Yes.
Yep, me too. So Psalms 139. Psalms 139 is a powerful chapter. I've taught on it a few times. You know, it'll get you good and happy too, boy. You say, I know you're down sitting and you're uprising. And thou understandest my thought afar off. Verse 2. Thou compassest my path and my lying down and art acquainted with all of my ways. This is a book of his sovereignty. But there is not a word in my tongue. But lo, O Lord, thou knowest it altogether. Thou hast beset me behind, before, and your hand is up on me. Boy, that blew me away when I got that revelation. He beset me what? Behind and before. And his hand is up on me. You know, so he beset me behind. He's dealt with my past. And he's dealing with my future. But my future don't show up till I recognize his hand is on me now. Am I right? His hand is upon me. His hand. And you know, his hand is the fivefold ministry. It's not a mystical hand that's floating out there. It's the fivefold ministry. Such knowledge is too wonderful for me. It is high. I cannot attain it. In other words, under the old administration, you didn't have the opportunity to discern what God wanted to do with you. All these magnificent truths, but he said, I can't attain it. Why? Because the Holy Spirit wasn't yet given. He said, whether shall I go from thy spirit, or whether shall I flee from thy presence? If I ascend up into heaven, thou art there. If I make my bed in hell, behold, thou art there. That's what Romans 10 said too, right? If I take the wings of the morning and dwell in the uttermost parts of the sea, even there shall thy hand lead me. and thy right hand shall hold me. Thy hand shall lead me, fivefold ministry, and thy right hand, Jesus, shall hold me. If I say, surely the darkness shall cover me, even the night shall be light about me. Ain't that powerful when you recognize that you are in right relationship with the fivefold ministry, and you understand that Jesus is in his sovereignty, has your life in his hands? He said, surely the darkness shall cover me, even the night shall be light about me. In other words, nothing will catch me off guard. I thought y'all get a shout out of here somewhere. Yeah, the darkness hideth not from thee, but the night shineth as the day. The darkness and the light are both alike to him. I don't know about you, but I want to be in a relationship with a God that there's no shadow of turning. That the night and day is the same to him. Light and darkness is the same to him. In other words, he'll never lose. Not only will he not lose, he won't lose us. But verse 13, for thou hast possessed my reins. Thou hast covered me in my mother's womb. I will praise thee, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Marvelous, marvelous are thy works, and that my soul knoweth right well. My soul, my nefesh, my personality, the abode of everything that I am knows right well. Our soul knows right. Tell you that we know what's right. My substance was not hid from thee, when I was made in secret and curiously wrote in the lowest parts of the earth. How many know we was curiously wrote in the lowest part of the earth? What is the lowest part of the earth? Adam. We were wrote there. We were in Adam. Okay. I would take your hand and walk you through scriptures, but you can do it on your own time. Thine eyes did see my substance, yet being unperfect, and in thy thy book, all my members were written, which in continuance were fashioned when as yet there was none of them. He prepared my future. He gave me expectation when I was yet unfinished. When you weren't perfect.